Okay, so one thing about Google Sheets is that if you're in a pivot table spreadsheet like this, you're not limited to just one pivot table. You can actually add another one anywhere that you want on your spreadsheet. So we can add one, for example, right here, right below it. So to do that, you can go to Data menu again, and then you click on Pivot Table again. But because we're in this other spreadsheet, it doesn't have our data selected automatically, our Miami data. We need to tell it that that's what we want to do. So we need to go over here to the right where it says Select Data Range and click on that button. This opens this new menu that says Select a Data Range with an input. We don't have to type anything here. Instead, we just go to the suggested option, which says Miami data, and this corresponds to all of the data in that first spreadsheet that we imported, the Miami data spreadsheet. So all we need to do is click on this and click on OK, and it'll automatically put that in for our data range. Then we want it to be right here below our other pivot table. So we're going to say Insert to Existing Sheet. Then it's not going to pre-populate this input for us. Instead, we need to click on this button again for Select Data Range. We click, and it says what location. We don't need to type anything here again. Instead, we just need to click on the location that we want it to be. So I'm going to click on this cell, which is already highlighted in blue. So I clicked it again, and now it says Pivot Table Influence, which is our current table. And it's going to select cell A7. So that's great. We can click OK. And now all of our settings, our data range, our existing sheet location have all been included. And we can click on Create. Now you can see a brand new pivot table has been created underneath our other one with its own pivot table editor. And for now, it's just blank. So let's go ahead and add something to this other pivot table. Let's go ahead and add rows over here, the green button next to rows. Click on that, and a little bit down on the list, there's this variable called local news pay. And local news pay is a variable that describes the question from the survey that went like this. In the past year, have you directly paid or given money to any local news sources by subscribing, donating, or becoming a member? And the possible answers are 1, yes, or 2, no. And we know this by reading the questions of the original survey and reading the methodology. So let's go ahead and click on this variable because we're interested in it, and we can see the possible answers here on the left. 1 for yes, I have directly paid, or 2 for no, I have not paid to my local news. Or again, 999 for anyone who didn't answer. And we can go ahead and do the same thing we did for the influence question and add the number of people who answered each of these. So let's add values, and we scroll all the way up, we add the ID numbers, and we change sum to count A, just like we did before. And we can even rename this, again, to number of people who answered. Same as we did before. So now we can see 106 people did not donate to their local news, 106 people did donate to their local news, whereas 524 did not, and 7 people didn't answer.